Welcome back to Real America. So I'm sure you all remember earlier this year when Democrats across our country at the federal and state levels all told us it would not be safe to go out and vote in person. And that's why we needed to mail out millions upon millions of those mail-out ballots, not absentee ballots, but the mail-out ballots, which we know now has turned out to be a disaster and totally opened itself up for fraud. Add on top of that the fact that the lamestream media has been fear-mongering Americans and telling us that it wasn't safe to vote in person. But wait, get this. Did you see this? Just 2 days before the election, the CDC updated their website and gave tips for voters to reduce the spread of coronavirus. And they did say, in fact, that it was okay to go vote. Take a look right here. I want to show it to you. CDC put this right there on the website. Voters have the right to vote regardless of whether they are sick or in quarantine. No crap. It's America. Of course we do. Voters who are sick or in quarantine should, though, take steps to protect poll workers and our voters. You should also let poll workers know that you are sick or in quarantine when you arrive at the polling station. But they said it was okay. Now, folks, get this. I thought the whole point of those mail-in ballots was to slow the spread, stop it, whatever you want to say. But do you see what happened right there? This has been a setup from the beginning. We got to have mail-in ballots. You can't vote in person. And now we see what's happening with those mail-in ballots. Speaking of voter fraud and irregularities, our good friends over at Project Veritas have received literally thousands upon thousands of emails and calls reporting voter fraud. In fact, in a new video they just released this week, it shows up in Michigan, USPS workers detailing on how the bosses there asked them to collect those ballots. Thanks to Project Veritas, now the Inspector General has become aware of these allegations and is investigating. To get more from our buddies at Project Veritas, our good friend Neil McCabe joining me now to discuss more on this. Neil, you're just dropping bombs every other day on this, proving the point that this is a corrupt and fraudulent vote. These mail-in ballots were bogus. Tell us about the latest one in Michigan.
Well, I do want to say, Dan, it's great to be with you. And it's interesting for us here at Project Veritas because so many of our investigations have been in play for so long, and now they're sort of coming to fruition just when the American people need to know what's going on. We got a call from an insider at the Traverse City Post Office at the Barlow branch, and he told us that in the morning meeting, the supervisor told all the mail carriers that whatever ballots they pick up, either in mailboxes or the collection boxes, they were to bring them in and put them in a special bin where they would be segregated from the rest of the mail. Throughout the day, they would be collected into express mail bags, and then at night, postal clerks at the distribution center at nearby, which was on it's on Garfield Road in Traverse City, the postal clerks overnight were going to hand stamp them or postmark them for November 3rd. And he's telling us this on November 4th. And of course, Michigan law says no ballots after 8 p.m. In fact, that was taken to the Court of Appeals in Michigan, where they said no ballots will be accepted after 8 p.m. But in 2020, Dan, nothing's impossible. You're telling me that if somebody went to federal court and said, hey, this ballot was postmarked November 3rd, why wasn't it accepted? They wouldn't be thrown out of the court. At least the court would have to hear them, I would think. I mean, a lot of things are in play we never thought would be in play, Dan. Yeah.
Neil, I want to, because people are like, oh, these guys are just talking about it. No, let's roll the video, and then when we come back, I also want you to tell me about some of the calls and emails, because I saw James O'Keefe there post the other day that you've been getting thousands of other tips and leads you're now looking into. So I want you to give us a little idea of what you're hearing, but let's first roll this video to prove what's happening in Michigan. Go ahead, guys.
You work?
I work in the Traverse City Post Office, more specifically the Barlow branch.
Your boss told you and your colleagues something that shocked you this morning. What was it?
We were issued a directive this morning to collect any ballots we find in mailboxes, collection boxes, just outgoing mail in general, separate them at the end of the day so that they could hand stamp them with the previous day's date. Today is November 4th, for clarification.
Who is your boss, and what is his title?
Jonathan would be a direct supervisor, yes. As of right now, he is the opening supervisor for the Barlow branch post office. So and this is anecdotal, carrier down in another office said they watched the postmaster doing it. If it were just a typical day, it would be clerks doing it up at the distribution center.
So 8 p.m. election day, November 3rd, the Court of Appeals ruled ballots have to be received by that time. And what were you told?
To separate them today so they could mark them with yesterday's date and send them through the express system to wherever they needed to go.
This appears to be an attempt to circumvent Michigan law and allow late votes. And you said there was a hamper where letter carriers were supposed to leave their ballots. Where are the ballots now?
They were putting them into express bags to go to the distribution center. In regards to a hamper, there was a standard hamper that all letter mail is supposed to go to, and they had a tub next to it that we were supposed to put any ballots collected today into.
Yes. What made you come forward?
That's sketchy. I don't like sketchy. It screams corruption. Also, knowing the post office's leanings politically, it didn't seem quite right.
What is your message to other postal workers who see things like this?
Report it. Report it. How are we supposed to have any integrity in this country if we are just going to let things slide based on a scaling issue?
Are you afraid of retaliation against you?
I've had whistleblower policies backfire on me in the past, so yes.
We'll have to reach out to Jonathan Clark for comment. Hey, is this Jonathan?
Yes.
Hey, I'm a reporter with Project Veritas, James O'Keefe here, and I have information that you guys have been stamping ballots with the previous date, November 3rd. He just hung up the phone on me. He just hung up the phone on me.
Wow. Didn't even want to answer James's question. So that's just one example right there. That's one that we know of where an insider, thank goodness, came forward and blew the whistle. Real quick, I know you only have a few minutes because you got to get running. Tell us about some of their stuff in different states. You guys have been getting the phone calls and the emails on where whistleblowers are coming forward saying, I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen that.
Yeah, Dan, people can reach us at veritastips@protonmail.com. I've personally received phone calls from people who have told me they voted, but when they went to look up the status of their ballot, they saw it was a provisional ballot, and that a lot of people have voted, said their ballot isn't even in the system. I took a call from a guy in Florida today. There are 2 people living in his household, but he received 5 ballots in the mail for his partner, himself, and 3 members of his family who do not live with him. And we're getting those calls all the time, Dan.
Yeah, and I saw a video online earlier today, and when we couldn't find it, poof, it went away. Thanks, big tech and social media, of people in Pennsylvania taking duffel bags of ballots and carrying them into the count. They're not even locked up. These things are supposed to be locked up, secured. You have officials tracking them. I mean, this is insane what's going on in our country right now. Neil McCabe with Project Veritas, keep up the good work. Tell James thank you for his hard work, your whole team there. And please, as you keep exposing this, keep coming back here on this show so we can show it to our viewers so they know we've got to hold the faith and keep up the fight. They cannot steal this election. Thank you, Neil.
Really glad to be with you, Dan. Thank you.
Appreciate it.